I'm 65 and I've started to keep to myself more. Here's why. Getting to this stage in life shifts your view on everything, how we see time, our relationships, and what truly matters. For much of my life, I was the person who always made sure to show up, whether it was for family, friends, or even acquaintances. But as the years passed, I realized not every connection is worth the energy it takes to nurture. Now, at 65, stepping back from certain relationships isn't about holding grudges. It's about protecting my peace, cherishing my time, and focusing on what really counts. In this video, I'll walk you through the lessons I've learned along the way, how time feels more fleeting as we get older, how relationships evolve, and why I found solitude to be a joy rather than a burden. If any of this speaks to you or even makes you think differently, you're in the right place. Take a second to like this video and hit subscribe on the Candle of Wisdom channel. Together, we'll dive into how embracing these ideas can lead to a life that's both simpler and more fulfilling. Let's dive in. First, time feels more valuable than ever. At 65, it's obvious. Time isn't endless. When we were younger, we took time for granted. We'd spend hours in pointless conversations or maintain relationships that didn't truly nourish us, all while saying yes to things out of obligation or guilt. But now, each moment feels like a precious gift, and I'm not willing to waste it anymore. This isn't coming from a place of fear, but from wisdom. Time is no longer just a tick-tock on a clock. It's the foundation of how I choose to spend my days. Each sunrise feels brighter. Every conversation with someone I genuinely care about is more meaningful. Even the small moments, like savoring a cup of coffee or strolling through the park, now carry a significance I never noticed before. I've learned that not everything or everyone deserves my time. This isn't about selfishness, it's about practicality. As we age, it becomes crucial to pause and ask ourselves, is this worth my energy? Does it bring me joy? Does it align with my core values? If the answer is no, I let it go. Because, in the end, time spent on things that don't matter is time I could have spent on what does. One way I've embraced this shift is by simplifying my relationships. I no longer feel obligated to say yes to every invitation or engage in superficial conversations just to avoid being rude. Instead, I focus on finding connections that feel authentic, places where I can be my true self and where the other person values my time as much as I do. A meaningful chat over tea will always beat a crowded event where I feel lost in the background. This isn't about isolating myself, it's about honoring my life. I've come to see time as a wise companion, reminding me to slow down and appreciate the moments I once rushed through. It tells me to make intentional choices because every decision holds weight, and it reassures me that it's okay to release what no longer serves me. If you're having similar thoughts, know you're not alone. There's no handbook for how to spend your time at this stage, but here's what I've learned. Focus on what truly matters. Time isn't about how much is left, it's about what you do with it. Protect it fiercely, fill it with purpose, peace, and the people who truly elevate you. Once you start treating time as the treasure it is, your whole life transforms into something richer and more meaningful. Next, relationships change, and so do we. As we age, relationships evolve, and I've come to accept a difficult truth. Not every relationship is meant to last forever, and that's perfectly okay. It's not a failure, it's just life progressing. When I was younger, I thought relationships needed constant effort to thrive. I remembered every birthday, showed up at every event, and reached out even when I was exhausted. I believed that being there for everyone made me a good friend, family member, or neighbor. But over time, I learned that not all relationships are created equal. Some nurture you, while others drain you. This realization didn't come overnight. It's been shaped by years of experience, some joyful, some painful. I've been hurt by people I trusted, let down by those I relied on, and even drifted apart from family members whose paths simply no longer aligned with mine. For a long time, I took these changes personally. I asked myself, what did I do wrong? Could I have tried harder? But now I see it differently. People change, I've changed, and sometimes the kindest act is simply letting go. One of the most freeing lessons I've learned is to focus on relationships that feel truly mutual. A healthy relationship isn't about giving without end while receiving nothing in return. It's about finding a balance. Does this person support you as much as you support them? Do they listen as much as they talk? Do they add light to your life or take it away? As I've gotten older, my circle has naturally shrunk, but what remains is deeper, richer, and far more meaningful. The friends and family who stay in my life are the ones who genuinely matter, the ones who understand, accept, and bring joy into my days. I no longer waste energy holding on to relationships that don't resonate with the person I've become. This doesn't mean I don't feel moments of nostalgia. Sometimes I think about friends I've lost touch with or family members whose paths have drifted apart from mine. But instead of regret, I feel grateful. Those relationships taught me, shaped me, and gave me memories I'll always hold dear. They were part of my journey, even if they aren't part of my present. So here's my advice. Don't hold on out of guilt or obligation. Relationships, like life, are meant to evolve. Focus on the ones that bring you peace and let go of the ones that don't. In doing so, you'll find yourself surrounded by love, authenticity, and the kinds of connections that truly make life worthwhile. Now, trust becomes more intricate. Trust is one of the most fragile yet essential elements of any relationship. At 65, I've come to realize that trust isn't something I give away lightly anymore. It's a rare and precious bond, and when it's broken, it leaves scars that take time, sometimes even a lifetime, to heal. When I was younger, I trusted easily. I believed in people's goodness and their intentions. I gave my heart, my time, and my loyalty without hesitation. While this openness led to many beautiful relationships, it also brought its fair share of heartbreak. Over the years, I've been let down by people I never thought would hurt me. Whether it was a friend who valued what I could do for them more than who I was, a family member whose choices caused a rift between us, or even a colleague who put their own gain before our shared goals. These experiences shifted the way I approach trust. They didn't make me cynical, but they did make me cautious. These days, when someone new enters my life, my first thought isn't, how can I connect with this person? But, what are their true intentions? It's not the easiest way to live, but it's become essential for me. And yet, I've learned that trust isn't just about others. It's about trusting myself too. Trusting my instincts has been one of the most vital lessons I've learned. If something feels off, I no longer brush it aside as paranoia or overthinking. I've walked away from relationships that felt toxic, no matter how long they've been in my life. I've learned that protecting my peace is worth the hard decision to let go. Still, I believe trust is possible. It just looks different now. There are moments when people surprise me in the best way. A kind stranger offering help, a neighbor checking in during a storm. These simple, sincere acts remind me that trust, while delicate, isn't impossible to rebuild. The key is balance, setting boundaries, not building walls, and giving trust slowly to those who prove they deserve it over time. It's about keeping your circle tight, surrounded by people who show consistency, kindness, and respect. So, if you've found yourself more guarded as you age, know that it's perfectly okay. Protecting your trust is a form of self-care. It doesn't mean you're closing yourself off from the world. It means you're valuing yourself enough to be selective. And at this stage of life, that's exactly how it should be. Now the world has changed. At 65, it's hard to ignore how much everything has transformed. Life feels faster, more hectic, and dominated by technology. Yet, for all the convenience and progress, Something precious seems to have been lost, a sense of warmth, simplicity, and connection. I grew up in a time when relationships were authentic. Neighbors weren't just people who lived nearby, they were friends. We'd pop over for a chat without needing an invitation, sharing coffee, stories, and laughter. Families gathered regularly, not out of obligation, but because they truly wanted to. Time together felt natural and full of meaning. Now, things are different. People are so consumed with chasing success, ticking off endless to-do lists, and keeping up with the relentless pace of modern life. Conversations, once rich and heartfelt, have become short and hurried, squeezed into the cracks between notifications and distractions. Even family time feels more strained, often limited by physical distance and competing demands. Technology, as amazing as it is in many ways, has certainly played a part in this shift. I love that I can video call my grandchildren or reconnect with an old friend through social media. These tools make life easier and help me stay connected, but they also create a certain distance. Nothing compares to the feeling of sitting across from someone, hearing their voice, and truly being present in the moment without the screen in between us. Sometimes I miss the simplicity of just being together without all the distractions of today's world. The constant buzz of technology can feel overwhelming, endless notifications, updates, and the news cycle making everything feel louder than it used to. Ironically, despite all the ways we can stay connected, many of us feel more isolated. It's a strange paradox. We have more tools to communicate, yet authentic connections often seem harder to find. This isn't about resisting change or wishing things were like they used to be. Every era has its own set of challenges, and every generation adjusts. But at 65, I found myself gravitating towards simplicity more than ever. I choose to disconnect from the noise and focus on what truly matters. Deep conversations, meaningful relationships, and the quiet joy of just being present. If you find yourself feeling the same way, it's perfectly fine to slow down. It's not about rejecting the modern world. It's about choosing where to invest your energy. By stepping back from the constant rush, we can protect the parts of life that feel real and genuine. In a world that moves so quickly, seeking simplicity isn't giving up. It's holding on to what matters most. And then there's solitude, which isn't the same as loneliness. This realization has been one of the most liberating lessons I've learned. Loneliness is a heavy, aching feeling, a sense of emptiness that comes from longing for connection. But solitude is a choice, a space where I find peace, reflection, and renewal. It's not something to fear, it's something to embrace. In solitude, I've found clarity that's hard to come by in the whirlwind of everyday life. There's a quiet beauty in simple moments, like sitting on the porch with a warm cup of tea, listening to the wind rustling through the trees, or watching the sun set slowly on the horizon. These moments don't just fill time, they deepen it, reminding me of life's small but precious joys. Reflecting on the past has become a source of solace during these quiet moments. Rather than focusing on mistakes or missed chances, I've learned to appreciate the lessons I've gathered and the memories that bring me joy. Solitude gives me the space to look inward and find peace with the life I've lived, acknowledging the growth I've experienced. It's also where I find gratitude for who I've become. That said, solitude hasn't meant withdrawing from people. In fact, it's deepened my appreciation for my relationships. It's allowed me to focus on connections that matter rather than maintaining them out of obligation or habit. When I'm with loved ones, I'm truly present, savoring every conversation, every shared laugh, every moment spent together. Solitude has also taught me the importance of valuing myself. There was a time when I believed my worth came from the people around me, from the busyness of my calendar, or the size of my social circle. But now I know my value comes from within, from understanding who I am and what truly matters to me. If you've ever feared being alone, I encourage you to rethink that. Solitude isn't a punishment, it's a gift. It's a space to listen to your own thoughts, to focus on what brings you peace, and to reconnect with your true self. The more you embrace it, the more you'll realize it's a source of clarity and strength. In the quiet of solitude, you can find balance, joy, and a deeper sense of fulfillment. It's not about being isolated. It's about being intentional. And in those still moments, you may find more meaning than you ever expected. As for avoiding people, it's not about bitterness. It's about protecting my peace. Over the years, I've come to realize that not every connection is worth holding on to, and not every social obligation deserves my time or energy. This was a tough lesson, but one that has truly changed the way I approach relationships. For most of my younger years, I believed in being available to everyone. I wanted to be the dependable friend, the supportive neighbor, the family member who always showed up. While that brought me joy at times, it also left me exhausted. I gave too much of myself to relationships that weren't reciprocal, to situations that didn't align with my values. Life has a way of showing us where to set boundaries, and sometimes it takes years to learn those limits. I've had moments where my kindness was overlooked and my time was treated as if it didn't matter. I ignored the warning signs, believing that loyalty meant staying even when it drained my happiness. But with time, I've come to see things differently. Avoiding certain people isn't selfish. It's about preserving my peace. There's a kind of tranquility in stepping away from toxic relationships, letting go of obligations that no longer serve me. I've swapped the chaos of trying to keep up with endless social interactions for the quiet joy of solitude. Instead of trying to please everyone, I now focus on a smaller, more meaningful circle. Relationships that nourish me, ones where there's mutual care, respect, and understanding. These bonds feel effortless in the best way. There's no drama, no competition, just genuine connection. I've also learned to distance myself from people who bring negativity into my life. Those who thrive on drama, who constantly complain or never take the time to check in on me. They no longer have a place in my world. Prioritizing my well-being means saying no more often, choosing solitude over company when necessary. Avoiding certain people isn't about shutting myself off from humanity. It's about valuing myself enough to protect my peace. It's about seeking relationships that uplift and nurture me rather than drain me. Life is too short to invest energy in what doesn't bring joy, and in making that choice, I've found freedom and happiness I never knew was possible. I wonder, is this a shared experience? Have you ever asked yourself, am I the only one who feels this way? As I've gotten older, I've asked myself that many times, especially as I've become more selective about the people I allow into my life. But as I've talked to others around my age, I've realized that this isn't just my journey. It's a shared one. Life has a way of teaching us tough but valuable lessons about relationships, priorities, and self-worth. For years, I tried to meet everyone's expectations. I wanted to be the dependable friend, the supportive family member, the neighbor who always showed up. But eventually, I saw the toll it was taking. I was giving so much to others that I had little left for myself. As I've connected with friends and peers, I've noticed a common thread in our experiences. Many of us reach a point where we no longer feel the need to be everything to everyone. We begin prioritizing quality over quantity in relationships. The superficial connections that once seemed essential lose their luster. What we desire now are meaningful conversations, shared moments of joy, and relationships that feel real and true. This shift can be challenging. It often feels like letting go of parts of who we once were. Saying no to people who once relied on us can seem selfish, but it's not. It's about protecting our well-being. The truth is, we can't be everything to everyone, and trying to be only leaves us feeling drained and resentful. By stepping back, we open up space for relationships that actually nourish us instead of leaving us depleted. And here's the most comforting truth. You're not alone in this. Many people in their 60s, 70s, and beyond are making similar choices. It's not about pushing people away. It's about creating room for peace and clarity. It's about learning to value your time, energy, and well-being above all else. If you've started to pull back from relationships that no longer serve you, it's not a sign of something wrong. It's a sign of growth. It's a reflection of your evolution and the wisdom you've gained over the years. Letting go of what no longer brings joy creates space for deeper, more fulfilling connections. In this stage of life, it's not about the number of people in your circle. It's about the depth and authenticity of those bonds. If this resonates with you, take solace in knowing you're not alone in this journey. Together, we're embracing a life that's simpler, more fulfilling, and unapologetically authentic. At 65, I've learned that life isn't about endings, it's about beginnings. Every chapter brings with it new lessons, challenges, and joys. This stage of life isn't about proving myself to others. It's about embracing the person I've become. It's about letting go of what no longer serves me and focusing on what truly matters. There's a unique kind of freedom that comes with this realization. When we're younger, we often live with urgency, always rushing to achieve, to do more, to meet expectations. We're driven by the belief that the future holds endless possibilities, so we keep chasing. But as time moves forward, we begin to understand that the present moment is what truly matters. It's about being here, fully engaged, rather than always looking ahead. This chapter is about simplicity. It's finding joy in the little things, the warmth of sunlight pouring through the window, the sound of shared laughter, or the comforting embrace of a favorite chair. These moments may seem small, but they hold a richness that words can hardly capture. They remind us that life's treasures are often found in its simplest pleasures. It's also a time for reflection. Looking back, I see my life as a tapestry of experiences, some beautiful, some painful, but all meaningful. Every triumph, every mistake, every heartbreak has shaped me into the person I am today. Reflection gives me the opportunity to honor those experiences without clinging to them. It's not about living in the past, it's about appreciating the lessons that have come with it and finding peace in the journey I've traveled. This chapter is about embracing who I am now with all the wisdom and growth that come with it. This chapter of life is not just about looking back. It's also about looking forward with excitement and possibility. There's a quiet thrill in knowing that there's still time to create, to learn, and to grow. Whether it's trying something new like a hobby, nurturing a garden, or simply slowing down to appreciate the present, there are unique opportunities awaiting us. What makes this chapter truly special is the freedom it offers. The freedom to say no to things that drain us and yes to what brings us peace. It's the courage to live authentically, without fear of judgment or the pressure to meet others' expectations. It's the realization that just being is enough. If you find yourself in this stage of life, I encourage you to embrace it fully. Let go of the noise, the rush, and focus on what brings you joy. Life doesn't have to be perfect to be meaningful. Sometimes the most peaceful and fulfilling moments come when we stop chasing and start appreciating the small, quiet moments. This chapter is ours to shape, so let's make it one of simplicity, gratitude, and genuine happiness. In closing, avoiding people at this stage isn't about shutting the world out, it's about protecting the peace we've worked so hard to find. Life at 65 offers us the chance to focus on what truly matters: meaningful relationships, moments of joy, and a sense of inner calm. It's not about bitterness or regret, it's about living intentionally. This chapter is a time to let go of toxic connections, unnecessary obligations, and the weight of expectations. Instead, it's about embracing simplicity, authenticity, and gratitude. The journey has been filled with lessons, some painful but all valuable, leading us to a place of clarity and fulfillment. If you've been feeling the same, know that it's okay to choose peace over chaos. It's okay to prioritize yourself. Life's true richness is not found in the quantity of commitments, but in the quality of your days. Let this be the chapter where you live boldly, love deeply, and savor every moment.